Friday before a long weekend, and I'm just sitting here just catching up on emails and those types of things. And
that's what you do on a Friday.
That's what I do. I wear
weekend.
What do they call these things when you have these fleece things? This is a North.
Yeah, you got a lot of those. By the way,
nice.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a fashion plate, but you seem to have locked into. You've got like one or two looks these days, and they're good looks. Don't get me wrong, but I mean,
Well, it's a little chilly out here. If you notice behind me, you see there's some snow. I get out there, do some shoveling. You have to have a warm fleece on, and you fleece them. It's funny you say classy fashion plate. I immediately think of course, classy Fred Blassie from our youth.
Freddie Blassie, yeah,
one of the great managers of professional wrestlers.
Was he a manager? I guess, yeah.
Wasn't he? I thought he was. Wasn't he? He had some people working for him, probably like the Gorilla Monsoons and those. But the reason I bring up, I was just looking at the market. I'm like, wow, PayPal traded above. Square's making an all-time high. I know why I thought of PayPal, and so is Twitter. I mean, you see Twitter today north of $70, and I'm saying, Jack Dorsey doesn't get enough credit, Tim.
He's much maligned, and I think he's kind of like Harden, man. All you look at is the beard, but there's a real player under there.
That's exactly right.
In fact, I think the beard distracts you. Next time you do that, if you could shave Jack Dorsey's beard, I think you'd be left with Timothy Hutton.
Wow.
You like what I just did there?
I mean, I do like what you did. Timothy Hutton really had about an 8-year window. He was all over the place, and then he just fell off the face of the earth, right?
Was he in Taps? That was a good movie.
Taps. He was also in Everyone's All-American, I believe, if you recall.
Yeah. What was his name in that movie?
His nickname.
It was
Cake.
It was an awful name. What? How do you do that to somebody?
Cake. No, but it's fantastic. And you probably did this as well, but back like in the 80s when, I was working downtown, I used to see him all the time, like at that place, that corner place in Tribeca that everybody went to that's still there. What was the name of that bar? It was literally the only bar.
Odeon.
Maybe it was the Odeon or someplace else, but he was all over the place, and then whammo, gone.
I don't know what happened to Timothy, but anyway, all right. So I again, just check that out at some point. So the question is, in life, you can't do anything. You can't do more than one thing well. Typically, is what your life coach would tell you. Do you have a life coach?
I do not.
Have you ever thought about it? I mean, a guy like you is pretty.
I mean,
do you feel like you need one?
I don't even know.
Could I be your life coach? Guy,
I think in some ways you are. I think each day for 10, 15 minutes, that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, it's therapy for me.
Right. Okay.
I don't know for the audience, but it's cathartic.
It is. And so if I'm Timothy, don't call me Jack Dorsey, Hutton's life coach, would anyone ever say, I think you have a shot at being the CEO of two of the most important and influential and wealthy tech companies in the world at the same time, and you'll be allowed to do it. The shareholders and the boards,
to do it, and
the
board would let
you do it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this? The conflicts involved.
It's remarkable, and good for him. And I think he is dismissed to a certain degree because of the beard. And it's funny you say, the beard. I'm just sort of looking. If you were to go to a pickup, like, you're in Scarsdale on some Saturday in the summer, and you're going to look for a pickup game of hoop, right?
Always
and
did. Always
you see a
did.
dude
We were so known for our
beard,
basketball.
Right. You see a dude with a beard like that, you're like, there's no way this guy's got a handle. And then he proceeds to light your ass up for 50. I always dismiss, like Darrelle Revis, for example, the great cornerback from the New York Jets. Yeah, I always dismissed him with the beard for some reason.
And the beard, sometimes it makes you look chunkier than you are. And I don't,
and slow. And it makes you look slow.
It's the beard slows you down. And in fact, obviously, you don't see swimmers with beards because it would slow them down too, right? I mean, you imagine like having like a ZZ Top beard and going straight into the pool with like against Michael Phelps. I mean,
Mark Spitz wasn't. I mean, Spitz didn't have any beard going.
No, but he had the stash. Hold on a second. Spitz had a bushy mustache, and
that's how confident Mark Spitz was in the pool.
I don't even know where to go anymore. Right. So greatest beard of all time. Is there a greatest beard of all time?
Greatest beard of all time. I mean, there's a number of ways to go with that, but I think
I know. I know that.
I mean, Lincoln have a? I mean, bringing it back to presidents.
You know what?
Lincoln
President's Weekend. Abe he had a big hat and he had a big beard. You know what I mean? He really did. And
there's that dude on Joe Thornton on the San Jose Sharks. I don't know if he's still there, but Thornton was rocking.
You know what's so funny?
You
bring that up, and I think COVID has done this too. When I think of Joe Thornton, I think of a younger Thornton, even with the Bruins, where there was no facial. In fact, I wasn't even sure he could grow a beard. And then one day I look up, and he is basically ZZ Top 1 and 2 combined, and so I've noticed that during COVID, beards have popped up out of nowhere, and people have. I mean, you don't see them for a while, and then you look up and they're bearded. We have to be on TV every day, and if I tried to sneak a beard past you, there'd be no doing it.
Yeah, no, and I would absolutely get on you. I mean, there's about a 3-day growth for me. Maybe you could tell. I don't know if you could tell. So
no, I mean, can you grow a full beard? Because it's not a sign of weakness. I think a lot of people take this question personally.
I have this,
like they're less of a man.
I have this huge scar on my chin, so I'm not able to.
Did you fall off your bike? What'd you do?
Recently, yes. No, that was actually, in the hard scrabble days of Croton football. That was actually from a helmet under my face mask, right up into the chin. Sure. Yeah, not that you're at all interested, but I'm just saying.
Did you settle that after practice, or
no? It was actually in a game, and it's amazing how much you can bleed from the chin. You would never think of it, but it was amazing the amount of blood. And I always loved that because we wore white at home.
You looked like a badass, dude.
You got the blood all over, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at the pep rally the next week, people were coming up to you and kind of talking a thing or two. Did you guys have like a big bonfire and like on a Friday night? Was it?
There would be one Friday before a game a year, probably before homecoming or something, where we did a large bonfire. To your point, yes. All right. I know in Scarsdale that wasn't allowed because you didn't want the ash in the air and would ruin like the foliage.
Yeah. You laugh at that, by the way. I think the Raiders probably schooled the Croton. What were you guys like, the Muskrats or something?
Croton Tigers. I told you before. I told you we scrimmaged Ravelli and Graves.
I know you did.
I mean, it was embarrassing.
By the way, how many Raiders do you know in sports? You've got the Oakland Raiders, you got the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and then you've got the Scarsdale Raiders. Okay,
that's all you need.
How many Tigers are there? That is the
Hundreds.
most ubiquitous. So why be just another Tiger when you could be a Raider?
I'll tell you why. Because we couldn't afford a fancy nickname like you guys could, Tim. That's what it comes down to.
It was so difficult for you. All right. So if you could be Jack Dorsey at Twitter or Jack Dorsey at Square, which job do you want?
I think the Square. Honestly, I think the Square job is probably the more interesting of the two. I think he's done pretty much all he can do at Twitter at this point. It's probably time for somebody else. But Square, I think there's so many verticals that he can go down. So if he were to force to choose at some point, which he may have to, I think the right play is Square. I don't know which one he favors the most, but that's where I would go.
So that's a great choice. And Square has been this was an $11 stock 3 years ago or something like that. So great pick by you. I'm going to go with Twitter just because a breakout of 64% in 18 days tells me there's something different going on at Twitter. And I realize Twitter's been in the spotlights for reasons that are not. They've been challenging. It's been challenging times, although it's further cemented why Twitter is shaping. It's shaping a lot of the conversations that go on in our country and in the world. I think the fintech dynamic at Square is really exciting, but I think fintech is on some level going to be something that is regionalized. And I think I don't know.
No, I was just going to say that bell ringing is signaling we got to get out of here. So
time to get out of here. Have a great long weekend.
We'll talk next week.
Can I see you with a beard Monday?
Perhaps. See you later.